Welcome back to a series so poetic, even Shakespeare subscribed. In today's video, Hasan is calling out Ethan Klein, asking him to drop the lawsuits against Casey Denims and Froggen. He's crashing out, calling everybody Israel dick riders, and says that people are being racist towards him. He's now blaming Ethan and Destiny for all of his problems, I guess since Asmon's on break. Ethan has responded, absolutely cooking Hasan. He's going after liberals, saying they need to stop criticizing him in order to beat Trump. He's going full schizo, saying the government is gonna put him in a concentration camp. He's still coping about the ICE shooter, calling it a false flag. He's now calling himself a good role model for men. You can't be serious. Ultimate Gooning Lord Dan Clancy is facing criticism for safety regarding TwitchCon. Asmongold and Tectone have responded. Subscribe or you have to lick Dan Clancy's Gooning Rag. Reports show Hasan only supports 4 terrorist organizations. Any advice, Jellywig?
Let's up those numbers!
Now let's begin with Hasan calling out Ethan, asking him to drop the lawsuits against his orbiting moons. Now quick recap if you're new to the series. Basically Ethan Klein sued Casey Denims and Froggen for violating copyright and stealing his video. Since then they had a ton of meltdowns and gave me a ton of views. They all started their GoFundMes for their legal expenses, but none of them got even close to their goal. And that brings us to today. Hasan tells Ethan Klein to drop the lawsuits.
He said he laid off you because of the whole Charlie Kirk thing, so there's that at least. Great. Remember when he also said that I falsely claimed that I was issuing a death threat against his wife, and then got mad at Destiny because Destiny took that as an opportunity to literally issue an actual direct death threat against me, and then he openly stated, "Oh, you ruined it. We really had a win here, but you fucking had to open your mouth and ruin it. Now he can play the victim." That's what he said. I think that shows you a lot about the calculations at play here. Drop the lawsuits, Ethan. Drop the lawsuits. You know they're frivolous. You know it has nothing to do with copyright or anything like that. You'll win a lot more good favor if you were to do that. I know you think that the people that you're attacking are unfavorable by the new audience that you have cultivated, but it's a good gesture. Laid off you, complaining about your op-ed and reposting the same out of context clip about Kamala versus Trump 10 times. I know that he did do that when I got the op-ed. I'm sure he's not actually going to lay off regardless. He just seems like a petty tyrant himself, just so thin-skinned, so narcissistic. He feels like when people have wronged him in his mind, he just never stops. It's clear to me. The reason why I say that is because he didn't stop even when his own fans were like, dude, just shut the fuck up about this. Like, okay, we got it. We hate Hasan. He sucks.
Okay, so much to go over there. I mean, how many lies in the span of 1 minute? First off, Ethan, do not listen to Hasan. I mean, you will never win his or his community's favor, like, ever. Pretty much nothing you ever do will satisfy these kinds of people. They will basically be hunting you till the ends of the earth because you don't actually support terrorists and you actually have some nuance and you actually care about human lives on both sides of a conflict, which is apparently the greatest sin in Hasan's whole community, right? Second off, Ethan did actually lay off on you for 2 reasons. Number one, he actually does care about political violence and doesn't want the situation to escalate after the Charlie Kirk shooting. Obviously, he saw the video, is crying about it because he felt like, Charlie was also a father, so you can feel that emotion of just, so a kid's losing their father, and, it's just a sad thing to think about. But I feel like the main reason that Ethan's probably laying off is because he was probably afraid of Hasan's whole community and things actually getting violent for himself, right? Because Hasan, your debate opponent, Charlie Kirk, was assassinated 2 weeks before the actual debate. Now, Ethan also had debated you, so he has that sort of proximity to you. He openly disagreed with you and is in conflict with you. You frequently bring up his name as well. And believe it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, that is actually very dangerous because opposing Hasan's viewpoints and radical lefty ideology is actually legitimately dangerous, because that's how crazy it's gotten, and that's the consequences of Hasan constantly like bolstering this violence in his community, this radical rhetoric, calling everybody Nazis, fascists. Also, he said that Ethan falsely claimed that he issued a death threat against his wife. So according to Hasan, Hila is a baby killer terrorist who is a, in his own words, valid military target. But apparently that's not a death threat. Apparently a valid military target is, you're valid for, I guess, shootings, bombs, shit like that. But yeah, not a death threat, guys. Then he said that the lawsuits are frivolous, but KCTron and Denim's lawyers both agree that it's not frivolous, and they're allowing the whole thing to proceed without obstruction. If it was frivolous, it would get thrown out, actually, but there's full cooperation going on there. So again, talking out of his ass. We got the Ethan parody account. Because of this, I'm going to sue even harder. This is as close as we'll see to Hasan publicly begging. Oh my god. Right, so then he calls them all Israel dick riders and says that people are being racist towards him because he's brown.
Down to YouTubers who spent the last 2 years cementing their legacy as rapacious dick riders of Israel by trying to deplatform all of its prominent critics. Of course, they still, on the one hand, are seemingly proud of their accomplishments in that time period, while simultaneously trying to rewrite the narrative as though they did not actively try to call every somewhat brown or Muslim-sounding critic of Israel a terrorist, an Islamist fundamentalist terrorist of the highest order that deserves not only scrutiny, but also potential prosecution. Definitely deplatforming, so much so that the entire platform that hosts any sort of dissent against Israel and Israel's genocide must also suffer material harm. Wonder who I'm talking about. Wonder who I could be referencing. A person who, now that fucking now that TikTok is back in the hands of someone who is sympathetic to the Zionist cause, might be trying to rewrite history. There are things that people like this could do, like, I don't know, drop the frivolous litigation pursuit. That could be a good start for people to let bygones be bygones. I don't know if it would rewrite the history. Just thinking out loud here.
There we go. Schrodinger's Turk back at it again. I love how he's actually embarrassed now. He can't even say that he's brown. He has to say somewhat brown, somewhat possibly brown. Maybe if I get extra tan today, I'll actually check the box, get the victim points or whatever. Brother, you do not face racism. Not a single soul has ever thought, I need to discriminate against Hasan because he's brown. No, nobody has ever thought that. Not even the most racist motherflip on the planet, okay? Also, just because you criticize terrorists does not make you an Israel dick rider. For the last time, bro, how many times are you gonna try to gaslight your audience? It is possible to not like Hasan and not be an Israel dick rider. It's not like they go hand in hand or whatever, as he would like you to believe. Now, I don't know why he still feels the need to defend Twitch or whatever. Like, Twitch deserves criticisms for not enforcing their rules in TOS and allowing you to be on the platform. That's like the main issue going on there. So it's not unreasonable at all to call them out. How can it be crying about lawsuits when there's a genocide going? Gotcha there, Hasan. Gotcha. Just back down, bro. I know I talked a lot of trash, but I was just playing. The internet will like you more for it, bro. Just do it, bro. Hasan needs to be taught a lesson, and this lawsuit is doing just that. To be fair, I don't think he actually cares. He's just sort of pretending to care, so he's like orbiting moons will get off his back. Moving on to Hasan embracing stoicism about as well as iDubbbz, basically blaming literally everybody else for his problems. Hasan thinks Destiny, Ethan, and Dan Saltman are the reason for his current day problems.
To this day, so much of the dumb nonsense that I see online from people who think like, oh, I'm pro-Palestine too. I'm just pro-Palestine in not this direction, but some other fucking unforeseeable direction. No matter where I go, when I see these fucking comments like, Hasan, isn't that guy like, doesn't he glaze terrorists, from some of the dumbest right-wingers of all time, and even some fucking dumb liberals who don't know any better. It all stems back to the same deplatforming initiatives that ultimately failed, conducted by Sex Pestany, who ruined his own fucking career once again, and also his partner in crime, Ethan fucking Klein.
Dude, honestly, how are you allowed to do this? Like, legitimately, Ethan and Destiny are not partners. They never have been. Apparently, they've never even had a single conversation. This is all based on Ethan looking at like a Reddit post of potentially one of Destiny's fans, and then Hassan just invents this entire narrative about how they're in cahoots. And he basically says this about all of his enemies. They're basically all spawned from Destiny, right? Destiny has brainwashed all of them, even though we openly call out Destiny as a degenerate fucking creep who also advocates political violence just like you, right? He thinks like we're all in Destiny's favor. Nobody likes that guy, bro. He's just as bad as you, if not worse. Just because you have wet dreams about both of them doesn't mean it's actually true in real life. Also, he keeps complaining about people calling him like a terrorist supporter. I feel like I'm doing a public service here, just informing people of your unrelenting conquest of terrorist fucking schlong sucking. You also admit it routinely. It's like you've never backed off on it. You just add more organizations. Just the other day, after Antifa was designated a terrorist org, you go, well, actually, I'm very anti-fascist myself. Right after they're designated a terrorist org. Like, I don't know, man. It's like you lean into it on purpose.
And also his partner in crime, Ethan fucking Klein, who not only was aligning himself and utilizing Destiny's own clips out of context compilations. Not only did he use those clips out of context to drive home an incredibly racist narrative that a critic of Israel was actually a terrorist, a Muslim critic of Israel was actually a terrorist, over and over again, really leaning into those Islamophobic sentiments, weaponizing it like it was nothing, on the wrong fucking side of a goddamn genocide. But also, even went as far as to directly, materially align with Destiny's partner, his podcast co-host, Dan Saltman, a 60-year-old psychopath.
You know, now I'm starting to get the comments. Like, a lot of you guys say that, you know, whenever I play a Sean Piker clip, you just sort of tune it out and you're like, you know, you just zone out because you've listened to so much of his actual bullshit. And the only thing I could think of when watching this clip is that, oh my God, that dog is so fucking cooked. Look at that poor baby. Just absolutely doomed to a life of unrelenting torture. Like, every day this dog has to sit there, watch Hassan Piker scream all day, lose his mind, have a mental breakdown. Like, I legitimately would not wish that fate on my worst enemy, but his poor dog has to deal with this all the time. In fact, just researching for my videos is already a big pain. You know, the things I do for you guys. Smash a like, obviously. And yeah, I feel like that dog has been through hell and back. Absolute trooper. W for the dog. Also, I find it hilarious Hassan is criticizing anybody for aligning with anyone. You literally had Luffy, self-proclaimed Luffy, on your stream, buddy. I don't think you have any room to talk. This crash out clip is everything. Destiny, and Ethan are secret besties. Everything's Destiny's fault. Ethan is associated with Nazis. Dan is 60 years old. And then we got the diabolical picture of the two dastardly duo. Anyways, an actual lawyer responded to Hassan about the copyright thing. Hassan, please stop pretending you understand anything about copyright law. You can barely read properly. Getting cooked by a lawyer. That's a new low. Only geopolitics expert that would lose a best of 3 games on Wordle. Moving on to Ethan's response. Ethan Klein says Hassan leaves him no choice but to continue his lawsuits after calling them frivolous. So he's responding to the clip where Hassan is telling Ethan to drop the lawsuits. What's funny is that by spreading this false narrative that the lawsuits are frivolous, my only option to be vindicated is to win the lawsuit to prove it wasn't frivolous. If I drop them now, people would just say it's proof that they were frivolous. So Hassan really is forcing the lawsuit to continue. Well, you can't really argue with that logic, can ya? Congrats, Hassan, you have now screwed them even more than before. And I just find this whole thing hilarious. All the Orbiters had to do was just apologize. Literally just admit some wrongdoing, take some accountability, but instead, they'd rather lose everything, all of their money. Casey can't afford weed anymore. Apparently her house is getting cooked or something. And think of Froggen, she probably can't afford the Big Macs anymore. It's It's diabolical. Ethan not beating the Jew stereotypes by going through with this. Part of me is for it because F Hassan, but there are optics here to consider. Not a good look for him, though I don't give a shit about him either. Yeah, this is a weird ass tweet. He's literally just getting tit for tat after they harassed him first. We're gonna be partying good when these three biz lose, and we got the SpongeBob meme. Add it to the collection. Moving on to Hassan crying about liberals. This guy just cries about everybody, it seems. The funniest thing is that this guy just hates both sides, and both sides hate him. He's like, he hates the right because he's a radical lefty lunatic, and he hates the left because he's a radical lefty lunatic. Like, Hassan pins the blame on liberals for going at leftists and allowing fascism to thrive. So apparently you're not allowed to criticize Hassan in any capacity, and that's the reason why I guess fascism is thriving, which by that he means Trump is winning or whatever.
Not necessarily new conditions, but like a new patina, right? Because even liberals themselves understand that this monoculture is destined for doom and despair. It's over. People are moving away from it. Okay? And unfortunately, many people are not just moving away from it, but they're moving in the direction of fascism, fascist mechanisms of control, rather than moving away from it towards a new evolution of the economy, one that actually analyzes the class contradictions and one that actually seeks to have more egalitarian outcomes for all on the basis of class, rather than other sectarian identity metrics, color, creed, religious background, ethnicity, nationality, and the like. Unfortunately, due to the endless conquest that liberals have engaged in against their left flank, they have designed this environment where fascism can thrive.
Ah, yes. Liberals going after their left flank. So apparently Hassan has this own sort of nomenclature for himself, his own phrasing. He calls himself the left flank, as if they're in some sort of like this war. And Hassan is like the secret weapon, right? That you're supposed to unleash upon your enemy. This absolutely unbeatable force, the left flank coming in and just disrupting all their operations, right? Hassan, how do I break this to you nicely? You're like the #1 converter of the centrist voter to like right wing, because everybody sees you and how regarded you are, and just like, okay, give me the opposite, make me the opposite of whatever the heck this is. You're just not helping liberals at all, so you can't expect them to actually help you, right? There's numerous clips of Hassan going, well, Kamala Harris would be no different than Trump or whatever in regarding whatever random policy or whatever, and he basically constantly criticizes the whole, liberal administration as well, and in that sense sabotages his own side as well. So I don't know, he wants his like radical fringe audience, which is like funding his lifestyle and everything and giving him all these views, but then also wants to be taken seriously, which is just not meshing. Also, I don't know what he was yapping about there, something about egalitarian outcomes. I don't know if this is another communist rant, but wouldn't be surprised. I feel like we need a new rule, If you want to LARP as a socialist or communist or whatever, you gotta have a net worth under $3 million. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable rule right there. Otherwise you get these bullshitters, right? Who do not practice what they preach at all. Then he continues going after Democrats and says that because of them not like working together, they're gonna put Hassan in concentration camps.
Reason why, even though Donald Trump is very unpopular, the Democrats are even less popular is because of this reality. They've like shied away from addressing any of the needs of their fucking base or anyone that's in the margins, by the way, which is a much larger percentage anyway. It's a plurality. We're all going to go to fucking concentration camps, and the Democrats are going to be like, well, it wouldn't have happened if you voted for us harder. Republicans know that as long as they can maintain that reliable 25 to 30% psychopathic base, that Democrat unpopularity with the rest of the country, due to their inability to examine critically and address the needs.
Okay, dude, I think you need to take your meds at this point. I mean, what is this level of schizo, bro? They're gonna put me in concentration camps. Buddy, you're openly supporting terrorism and nothing has happened to you. Like, you are so far away from that. And he wants everybody to believe, like, oh, the government is going after him. They're specifically targeting Hassan Piker here. You haven't even been banned off Twitch longer than a week, dude. Holy shit. Why does this guy get to cry and play victim 24/7 all day, every day? And it's like nothing is happening to him, but his entire fan base is convinced like he's this revolutionary. They're trying to put him in prison or whatever for like unjustly. You know what I've actually noticed? Hassan is like the ultimate virus who is on your team, right? Because he doesn't want your team to win. Right? He just wants to cry and get all of the attention. He doesn't actually care if Trump wins or Biden wins or whatever, right? He just wants to maintain his own audience, his radical fucking lunatic audience. He wants to be taken seriously in politics while also just LARPing in all these different ways or whatever. And it's just pathetic. It's honestly pathetic. Bro needs to start a family already. Buddy is 34, 35. What are you doing, man? It really sucks that fascism and Nazi have become catch-all terms to the point where the words mean almost nothing, and Hassan contributes to it all the time. Like, he does not give a single shit about the overuse of this because it is the perfect way to discredit anybody. It's not just fascism and Nazi, it's all these words like, you know, homophobic, transphobic, bigot, racist. Like, it's just so overused and is never applied to the people who the label actually fits, right? And because of that, people are just not taking it seriously anymore. Now, this is the only way for liberals to get their party back. Keep pushing and doing what's right. Doing what's right is obviously not aligning yourself with fucking Hassan Piker. Here's this meme. Get in there and make it about you. Coming from the guy who told people not to vote for Harris. But no, you're undermining my left flank. Like, such a moron, bro. I just don't understand him. Moving on to Hassan coping about the ICE shooter. So quick recap. A guy shot up an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. He specifically stated he wanted to kill ICE officers and instill terror in them, which is literally terrorism. He also explicitly stated he did not want to kill the illegal immigrants, but ended up killing them anyways because he randomly shot into an unmarked van like a complete idiot. He also put anti-ICE on his bullets, so confirmed, you know, radical lefty lunatic 100%. And Hassan spent the entire last episode denying it, saying that it's impossible to determine his politics. Oh, the median voter is so nuanced or whatever the hell. We debunked all of that, and he continues to cope here.
This is so bad that it made the libs go, I don't really believe this. Like, it even made the libs go, seems weird, right? And I don't know if it's because they're just incompetent. Like, I mean, what is this? Like, what? I don't know. It just seems so crazy. It seems like if they said ICE is not poggers, that would make more sense, dude, than anti-ICE on the bullet, you know? 819 and 824, he searched apps that track the presence of ICE agents. One of the handwritten notes recovered read, hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think. Is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? Further accumulated evidence to this points to indicated high degree of pre-attack planning. The FBI will provide further updates when able. So yeah, they're trying to tie this to like the ICE tracker apps. They're gonna make that illegal too. I think that all leftist organizing is illegal as well. Every neo-lib tweeter below doesn't buy it. Yeah, no, I do like that the liberals, even liberals who normally would be totally reliant on government, like official organs of the government saying anything really, have looked at this and been like, nah, this doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, all of these shootings have got to be the most like eye-opening thing to any person with a shred of common sense. Like, people see the facts in front of their face right there. It's right there ready to grab. They read it out. And they still deny it, still pretend it's a false flag. We saw his comment section full of, oh, it's definitely a false flag or whatever. Basically, they're implying that the FBI is purposely writing on the bullets to brand the shooter with a motive. They're forging the shooter's literal notes as well, which is just fucking unreasonable. It's never gonna happen. Also, according to them, apparently they forged his previously available communist profile picture as well, right? They forged everything, guys. They forged the fact that he went to a fucking ICE facility to shoot the ICE officers. That was forged as well. It was all set up by Israel, actually. I mean, let's just evaluate what's actually gone down. We had the Charlie Kirk shooter. This guy was branded as a right-wing MAGA Nazi guy, right? But he had Antifa messaging, right? And a trans furry partner or whatever the fuck. It's legitimately like nothing would actually satisfy them. It's like they only see the version of reality that suits their narrative, right? So then he basically continues his false flag theory.
I hate to sound like a liberal, but this is a ridiculous thing to do. You can't be running around and being like, this is a bad guy, and I found out exactly what their biases are, and I'll have you know, it might come as a surprise, but the shooter was exactly the opposite of my worldview and was very clearly acting out in a way that I want to, you know, in all of the groups that I want to silence and suppress. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. I'm not even going to look at the manifesto. I'm just going to come out and be like, that's a right-wing guy. That's a right-wing guy. Bet you he's a Ben Shapiro fan. We got to start taking care of these Ben Shapiro style content creators. Like, that would be insane.
Hassan, maybe consider this. Your side is actually fucking crazy. Is that actually in the docket of possible conclusions there? You still call them Gestapo even after the actual shooting, basically encouraging even more violence here. And this is the natural result. You get a bunch of mentally ill morons radicalized by idiot political commentators like Hassan Piker here, right? And this is the result, okay? Just more and more violence. And that's why people are asking just some level of moderation for these absolute lunatics who openly calls for violence, which is illegal. That is not protected speech. That is illegal, right? You should at least be banned from the platform. But these platforms are hijacked by fucking gooning lords, all right? We can't do anything about it. Also, I just love how he's like, wow, guys, why are all the radical lunatics on my side? That's awfully convenient, guys. Like, I don't know, man. Take a guess. Take a guess. Then he says one of the dumbest things ever. He calls himself a good role model for men. You can't be serious. You just can't be serious.
And they're getting the absolute worst role models. Like, oh my God, there are not many dudes out there who are prominent in media, whether it be independent media, whether it be Twitch, whether it be Kick. Oh my God, don't even get me started on Kick, whether it be TikTok. But I kind of understand that people are just so cooked. I kind of get why it's a powder keg for a lot of young men, because there's just very few alternative good role models. I would consider myself to be a decent role model for young men, but I'm constantly yelled at and smeared with regular frequency by the worst possible role models. Like, look at all my enemies. You got the Andrew Tates of the world, you know, the Aiden Ross of the world, the people that are just like priming an entire generation to be little savages.
Nah, this guy's actual comedy, bro. He's actually calling himself a good role model for men. Dude, how is this guy real? Now, I don't like those other guys either. They're probably pieces of shit as well. But Hassan calling himself a good role model is crazy. What values do you actually support? You support terrorism, right? You lie and slander people on the regular. You encourage violence on the regular. You date prawn stars and get cucked by other men. You know, great values right there. Your friends are some of the worst people ever. You got fucking iDubbbz and Froggen and shit like that. People who say American veterans deserve PTSD and should die or whatever. You got Casey Tron on your docket. You got Denims, who's like, kids cannot feel trauma or whatever. And then you got yourself, the worst of them all. Holy shit. You got Noah Samson being like, we need to take up arms against the, you know, we have direct access to the politicians and the guns and everything. Right, so this next part, he says that conservative guys are whiny. And the thing is, he's actually supposed to be talking about red pill men here. And then he uses conservative interchangeably. So he basically thinks that all conservative guys are red pill men. This guy's such a fucking delusional projector. By the way, this is the guy whose past was entirely these bro tips and how to sleep with women. Like, he is the guy he's describing.
When the did every goddamn conservative turn into a whiny dipshit baby? Okay, at least when SJWs are chirping and are behaving in a hysterical manner, it makes sense. They're coming from a place of empathy, right? They're like empathizing too much. They're demonstrating too much empathy for others of marginalized background. It's like conservatives are unbelievable. When they cry, I'm like, dude, you're not only trying to posture as a strong beacon of alpha dog masculinity, and you're whining like a bitch while you're doing this. God damn, dude. There is nothing more repulsive to me than a whiny bigot, okay? If you're going to be a bigot, at least stand on it, all right? Don't just come in here and be like, well, it's time for some cancel culture. So much for the tolerant left. Oh, why are you generalizing conservative men? Oh, why are you calling out my bigotry? Don't you know it's a part of my standpoint theory? I'm doing our bodies in spaces as a bigot. It's so funny because, like, the same dudes will literally, on the one hand, whine endlessly. We saw this in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk stuff. Like, so many prominent neo-Nazi accounts on Twitter who've spent every waking moment being like, we have to kill every trans person, time to dunk on a trans person. And then they have the audacity to turn around and be like, oh my God, the left is so violent. The left is so violent. Please, mods, please, Donald Trump, save me. Donald Trump, please save me. Your people do the same. Shut the fuck up. Shut your bitch ass up right now.
By the way, just a reminder, he's calling other people whiny in this clip. This guy, what the fuck are you doing right here? You're having a meltdown over a chatter. Buddy, get a grip. I mean, Hasan calling anybody whiny is just hilarious. This guy's like, if you tune into his stream on a random occasion, there's like a 90% chance he'll be whining about someone or something. You know what? I'm making that into a soundbite. That's him. That's him crying all the time. Also, for the love of God, how did he bring up trans people again? How did he do this? This was a random conversation. Inserted Israel, inserted trans people, inserted some gay fit. Like, buddy, how can you not have a regular conversation without bringing up some random shit, bro? Like, when you order at fucking Starbucks, do you go one trans? Or like, what the hell are you doing, buddy? Anyways, the meltdown continues.
I just don't get it. I'm a very stubborn person. Maybe that's why I have a lot of pride. Maybe that's the reason. But I will never understand how people will be like, a lot of people yelled at me, so I changed my entire worldview. It's like, okay, well, you're spineless then. You are just demonstrating your lack of spine. You are just constantly trying to find victimhood. And it's so crazy because in the endless the endless sequence of events, the endless conquest to find a permanent victimhood status, you also simultaneously try to present yourself as strong. It doesn't make any sense. People call me a misogynist all the time. People call me racist all the time. People call me a Nazi. That doesn't change my worldview. I don't go, oh my God, I'm right-wing now. What's wrong with you? Have some goddamn conviction.
Wait, Hasan actually thinks that changing your worldview after getting new information is actually spineless. No, Hasan, that's called broadening your perspective, something that would be absolutely incompatible for you, absolutely incomprehensible for you, actually, because you could not understand that. You would be like, what the fuck? This person's grifting, obviously. But no, people actually have open minds and are open to changing their opinions when they're presented with the facts, unlike you, who reads the facts in front of your face and goes, well, false flag. Well, the FBI planted that totally. Like, dude, delusional, actually delusional. By the way, he said conviction. He said have some conviction. Play the clip. Play the Gaza clip.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to Gaza.
Gaza?
Yeah.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. I unfortunately most likely will not be able to go.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. The people that I did talk to said that they could not give me security assurances.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. Have some conviction.
Classic. That's a classic. We got an entire folder of these fellas. Mr. Conviction right here. Wah! It's dangerous. Wah! Moving on to the ultimate gooning lord, Twitch CEO Dan Clancy. Basically, streamers Valkyrae and QT were saying that they're afraid to go to TwitchCon. This is after the Charlie Kirk shooting and the crazy political climate. Dan Clancy responds to streamers' safety concerns regarding TwitchCon, says the platform is a zero-tolerance policy. Twitch responds to TwitchCon safety concerns as Valkyrae and QT Cinderella drop out. I'm kind of afraid to go to TwitchCon, Ray admitted. I've been so anxious and scared and sad this whole past week with everything that's been going on. With all due respect, I don't think you should go to, TwitchCon or whatever, but why would random streamers be scared about this? Unless you have some association with Hasan. QT, I can understand. You have a podcast with them. Okay, that makes sense. Ray, I don't know. There's some random rumors going around that they're like in a relationship. If that's the case, yes, you should probably be scared, yes. We're in a bit of a conundrum. QT agreed. We're supposed to do Whine About It live and TwitchCon. Love TwitchCon for supporting our show. I've given them a soft, hey, we're in a bit of a panic mode right now. So Dan responds...
There's one question that has been coming up on social media, just in terms of safety and security at TwitchCon in light of recent events. So I want to be very clear. We take security at our events like TwitchCon extremely seriously. Every year, we build on a successful approach to TwitchCon safety and security, particularly as we become aware of new or emerging security or safety challenges. So we have teams focused on this year round, including keeping creators and community members safe on Twitch or at TwitchCon. We have rules and standards regarding TwitchCon attendees that therefore follow. And we limit, for example, if people who've been indefinitely suspended, off-service violations, they're not able to attend. We also look for things that need to protect our streamers and any other issues.
Yeah, I'm not believing this absolute fucking dinosaur. The only thing you keep safe is your Hassan gooning rack. We all know it. You got it locked behind 18 layers of security. All right, maximum security, safe right there. Honestly, my advice, do not go to TwitchCon, whether you're a creator, streamer, viewer. They do not deserve your support at all. Horrible platform. Do not know how to enforce their TOS. Also, you're probably not safe. You can't trust this guy's fucking security, to be honest. Also, if there's anywhere Hassan is going, I would not go there. Okay, that place is not safe. Asmongold responded, last year, NMP LOL and Wake were SA'd by a streamer and Twitch didn't press charges or pursue any form of legal action against him. Here's a video of the incident. If I was a woman, I would never go to TwitchCon. And yeah, it's some creepy ass shit. I don't want to show it, but you can check it out if you want to. Tecton responds, I think I'll pass on going to HouthieCon. Now click this video to have an awesome day ahead. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.